Oh, got one. There he is.
I got one. I said it.
Today's video is all about our experience targeting perch at Fish Lake. In this video, we'll share what we used, what kind of water we were fishing in, and a tip or two about how we caught around 30 fish in 40 minutes. If you like this video, there are two important things you can do to support our channel. First, you can subscribe by clicking the button below this video, and second, take a look at the information we included in the video description, which you can find just below the video title. Fish Lake is a high elevation, natural lake created by fault lines. The lake used to be full of Colorado River cutthroats and sculpin, but eventually those species were crowded out by the introduction of other fish like rainbow trout, brown trout, and lake trout. Today, you can still catch all three of those trout species, as well as kokanee salmon, splake, brook trout, tiger muskie, tiger trout, Utah chub, and the Utah sucker. Yellow perch were also illegally introduced to Fish Lake in the 1970s and have since grown to significant numbers. The perch ended up having a negative impact on the fishery. Currently, Fish Lake has no limit on yellow perch, and you can even use perch for bait at Fish Lake if you're not interested in taking any home. When we got to Fish Lake, the boys were especially excited about bringing some fish home to share with Mom. So we started in shallow water along a weed line where the yellow perch usually congregate. After catching perch, my plan was to head out to deeper water and target trout, but my kids had a different idea. Once they saw how fast the perch action was, they insisted we stay in our first spot and target perch all day.
Okay, let him eat it really good. You're okay. No, you're okay. Let him eat it. Wait, look. There he goes. That's 24.
Oh, 25.
Go, Tyler, go.
I got one.
Oh, yeah, that's 25.
The kids loved the fact that this was all sight fishing and the action never stopped. We, meaning my 4-year-old and my 6-year-old, caught about 30 fish in the first 40 minutes of fishing, and then we sort of lost count. We found that the key to targeting perch that day was to use very small tungsten jigs. The perch would look at almost anything we dropped through the ice, but the fish were a lot more hesitant to strike at bigger lures and baits. Watching the fish through the ice was one of the reasons why we caught so many fish and learned how effective our jigs were. We couldn't always detect the bite right away, but the perch were almost always bugging our tungstens, which were tipped with spikes or maggots. The tungsten jigs we used were from a local tackle shop called Do Live Outdoors. This father and son owned business started because they felt that tungstens were way too expensive. So this dad and his 10-year-old son decided to make and sell their own tungstens online. So we've been using their tungsten jigs variety pack for several weeks now, and we've already caught tons of fish with them. In fact, a growing number of people in Utah are catching anything from perch to big trout and even muskie on these little tungstens. Honestly, the 2 tungstens we used from them were catching so many fish that we never took them off the line. So if you're headed to Fish Lake for some perch, consider grabbing some tungsten jigs from Do Life Outdoors. I'll put a link to their website in the video description.
Nice. You guys are crazy for these perch. We got a triple hookup going on here. This is awesome. We just got another